Please Malese, A Trickster Tale from Haiti by Amy MacDonald. Pictures by Emily Lisker. Malese was lying in his hammock one day when he noticed that his shoes were all worn out. "My toes are suffering," said Malese. "They need new shoes. That's what they need." He looked around his humble cottage. He had no money and nothing to trade, but Malese did not despair. Instead, he went to town and found a shoemaker. "Macaque," he said, "I need new shoes, but I'm mighty particular about my shoes. They must be just so. You make me a left shoe and bring it to my house. If it's good, why, then you can make me the other one too." So Macaque made him a shoe, exactly as Malese had described it, and brought it to his house. "That's a terrible shoe," Malese cried. "It's ugly as a horned toad. Take it back." "Take it back?" said Macaque. "Now who else gonna wear a shoe like that?" And he flung it into the bamboo bushes and went away. Now Malese went back to town and found another shoemaker. He asked Karbit to do the same thing, but this time he asked for a right shoe. So Karbit made him a shoe, but when he saw it, Malese shook his head sadly. "That's a terrible shoe," he said. "It's ugly as a blister. You can take it back." "Now who else gonna want that shoe?" cried Karbit, and he flung it into the bamboo bushes and went away. Just so did Malese get a brand new pair of shoes, and himself not a penny poorer for it. Next day was market day, and Malese was hungry. "My stomach is suffering," he declared. "It needs rum cake, that's what it needs." And his mouth watered as he thought of his favorite cake, sweet, fragrant, and covered in white icing. But Malese had no rum for a cake and no money to buy rum. Still, he did not despair. Instead, he took an empty bottle and filled it half up with water. Then he walked through the marketplace until he saw his neighbor Buki. "Buki," he said, "my rum's half gone. Fill my bottle up, brother." Buki looked at Malese. Malese had tricked him many, many times before, but he could see no trick in this. So he got his big jug of clear white rum and filled Malese's bottle with it. Then he counted on his fingers. "That'll be $2, he said, holding out his hand. $2? Cried Malese with astonishment. He held the bottle behind his back and swirled it until the rum and water were all mixed up. "Why, that's daylight robbery. I got no $2. Here, take your miserable rum back." And he poured half his bottle back into Buki's jug. Then he walked along the marketplace till he saw another rum merchant. "Zwozo," he said, "fill my bottle up, sister." Zwozo looked at Malese. She didn't trust him either, but she got her jug and filled Malese's bottle. "That'll be $2, said Zwozo. $2? $2? Malese cried, dancing in anger and shaking the bottle over his head. "Why, that's daylight robbery. I've a mind to call the police. Here, take your miserable rum back." And he poured half his bottle back into Zwozo's jug. Then he continued along the market, and every place he stopped he filled his bottle with rum, jumped and shouted and swirled and twirled the bottle, and poured half of it back again. By the time he got to the end of the market, his bottle, which had once been half full of water, was now half full of rum, and Malese was not a penny poorer. The walk home was long and steep. Soon Malese began to tire. "My legs are suffering," said Malese. "They need a rest, that's what they need." Just then he saw Buki coming, leading a donkey piled high with baskets from the market. Malese saw his chance. "Buki," he called, "have you no money? Your poor donkey is suffering under the load. Why, it's bigger than he is." This was only half true, For though the load of baskets was big, it was light. But Buki was not clever and he did not think about this. What you want me to do? Carry it for him? Snapped Buki. Never, brother, never, said Malise, flinging up his hands. I just feel sorry for the poor little burik. Ha! cried Buki. You're so tender, why don't you carry his load for him then? Malise frowned. He struck his forehead with his fist. Buki, he moaned. You too smart for me. You tricked me with your own words. All right, you win. So saying, he climbed onto the donkey and balanced the load of baskets on his own head. Off they went up the steep mountainside, Buki toiling in the hot sun, Malise riding in splendor. And all the time Buki smiled to himself, thinking that for once he had outwitted Malise. Malise arrived home, cool and rested, and quickly made his rum cake, sweet and fragrant and covered in white icing. But that afternoon the villagers got to talking among themselves. Cabrit told Makak about the shoes. Zuazo told Buki about the rum. And so it happened that just as Malise sat down to eat his cake, he saw a big crowd coming. They looked madder than boiled owls. You've tricked us for the last time, Malise, cried the villagers. Now it's your turn to suffer. We're going to lock you up for a whole month. Hallelujah, cried Malise, falling to his knees. Is that a promise? What do you mean, hallelujah? They asked. You want us to lock you up? Of course, said Malise. I work myself to the bone day in, day out on this house. Why, if you don't take me off this very instant, I'll have to spend today mending the leaky roof, fixing that broken gate, patching that wall, and making dinner. Lock me up, I say, the sooner the better. The villagers all looked at one another. Were they making a mistake? But Buki insisted. You tricked us all. You're going to pay. So they locked Malise up in a rude mud hut. He lay down on the hard mat on the damp floor and thought about his comfortable hammock back home. But he smiled a big smile. Ah, he said, this is so comfy I can't thank you all enough. At supper time, Buki walked through the dark to bring him a plate of plain beans. Malise thought about the rum cake back home, but he smiled a big smile and gobbled the beans right up. Thank you, brother, said Malise. That was tasty. Say, when's breakfast served around here? Buki left without a word. Next morning, Cabrit walked through the heat to bring Malise a mug of bitter black coffee. Breakfast in bed, cried Malise. This is the life, and coffee just how I like it, cold and old. He smiled a big smile. Could I trouble you for some cream and sugar? Cabrit turned on his heel and left without a word. That evening it rained. Zuazo walked through the downpour to bring Malise his supper. Yes, sir, I'm mighty grateful to be in this cozy, dry place, said Malise, gulping down the stale bread and water. It's better than my poor leaky hut. I hope you didn't get too wet, sister. He smiled a big smile. Could I trouble you for salt and pepper? Zuazo started to speak, but all that came out was a sneeze. She turned on her heel and slammed the door as she left. That night all the villagers came to the hut. What can I do for you, my friends? Asked Malise, smiling. Buki cleared his throat. We've decided to let you go early, he said. We feel you've been punished enough. He opened the door. Malise sat up on his hard, dusty mat. Let me go, he said. Nope. No. A promise is a promise. You said a month. I got 29 days left. I ain't going anywhere. Please, said Buki, go home. You've suffered enough. No, sir, said Malise. No, I haven't. Besides, if I go home, I'll just have to fix my roof. Please go, said Zuazo. We'll fix your roof for you. No, sir, if I go home, I'll just have to mend my gate. "Please," said Kabrit, "we'll mend your gate for you." "What about my wall?" "We'll patch your wall too, just go home," said the neighbors. "Please, Malese." So Malese went home to lie in his hammock and eat his rum cake, and the others fixed his house for him, because he had suffered enough. Thank you for listening to Storytime with Gargi. Like and subscribe down below.